Okay, thanks,
I got
Jiwon.
it.
Oh, look at that.
Right,
Clean.
to the, can we skip to the first Odyssey news slide, please, Jiwon? Thank you.
Yep.
Next, please. Yeah, so first news I wanted to share is around the industry working group Steady-a-thon that's coming up. We've lost the screen.
Ooh, tiny.
Now we're
Just give me a second. I got it.
okay.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So the industry working group is hosting a Steady-a-thon on May 29th to 30th. It's going to be both in person and virtual. Unfortunately, it's in the US Eastern Time. So if you guys want to join portions of it in virtual, that's also fine. But I'm pretty sure not all of you will be able to fight your sleep and do an all-nighter for this. But again, the topic is going to be around phenotype development of inflammatory conditions and also evaluation of that phenotype across the OHDSI network. And we just wanted to pitch a call for APAC participation for the specific study-a-thon. So either if you're interested in taking part in the study-a-thon itself, or if you even have a OMAP database that you can contribute to this study-a-thon, that will be great, right? Because we want APAC representation everywhere. So if you are interested, please reach out to Megan at the email address here. All the information we need at this moment is your name and affiliation, and you'll be getting any communications after the registration.
Well, with
Anything?
the name, affiliation, and email, I gotta be able to figure out how to contact you, right? So
yeah, if you email Megan, I'm pretty sure she has your email.
Oh, that's
so
true.
so yeah, please, guys, let's make APAC also be represented in this specific study-a-thon. That would be great.
So what I do want to bring up on this is this is a actual pharma study-a-thon. Okay, when I say industry, I'm actually talking about pharma, not payer, not providers. This is actually hosted by Gilead. Is the pharma company that's hosting it in New Jersey. And the purpose of this study-a-thon is actually to get different pharma companies to understand how OHDSI does studies and how to use data partners to do a study. Okay. Of course, it's a 2-day event, but we're starting off with something very simple, which is just phenotyping, because it's just to get them to the concept. And we picked inflammation because most pharma companies can then take that, because most pharma companies have inflammation drugs, because part of this is being able to want to take it back to their companies and say, how can I use what I've learned so that they can adopt and look at how they can utilize OHDSI to do sponsored related studies. Okay, so if you're, this kind of ties into the network evidence working group, because if you joined as an OHDSI data partner, there was a flag in there to say if you're interested in commercial studies, right? So this is kind of helping to bridge the gap between the two, where we can get pharma and data partners that are interested in commercial studies to kind of talk to each other. And then at the symposium, we can have further discussions of how to build out that type of working relationship. Okay, I just want to give you guys the background of this. Not to say that if you're not interested in a commercial study, you can't participate, but I'm just telling you what the purpose is. I'm being very transparent what the pharma companies are looking for. Okay.
Thank you for that addition, Mui. Right, guys, please, if you have an interest, do reach out to Megan. Next slide, please, Jiwon. Okay, just slight reminders on some OHDSI symposiums coming up, right? So the European Symposium was already showed at the last community call. Just a reminder that registration will close in June, after June 16th. Next, on the Global Symposium, just wanted to share that the registration page is now live, but of course, the actual registrations are scheduled to beginning June 2nd. So that leaves us a little bit over 2 weeks, I think, for the registrations. If you're interested, you will need to register at this page. For abstract submissions, this is already open. Any abstracts you want to submit are due by July 1st. So I've put in QR codes for the registration and the abstract submissions here, and also the links will be shared in the chat for those of you who want to do this now. So, of course, any news around the global symposium is continuously, frequently updated at the OHDSI Global Symposium website you see on this URL. Next, please. And some news around OHDSI APAC as well. So we've just kicked off some APAC studies with our OHDSI China collaborators. There was a kickoff meeting that took place last week. I think it was this week, sorry. I've lost track of time. It took place this week. The recording is available for you on the 2025 APAC Studies Central Study channel you see in that screenshot on the right side. There are also individual channels created for each of the studies where study-specific discussions will happen moving forward. And that naturally carries on to the next slide where we're going to be, where it's showcasing the protocol meetings that's coming up. So each of the study leads have been tasked with finalizing or at least coming up with a draft of their protocol by the end of June, and we'll be reviewing each of these on the specified dates here. Meeting invites will be circulated upon finalization of the times. Right now, we're still coordinating multiple time zones to make sure we get the best and optimal participation from everybody across the globe. So that's all I needed to share around OHDSI Global and APAC news. I'll hand over the floor now to our very special guest today, Mingshi Koh from Singapore MOH, who will be talking more about the Trust platform and the developments in Singapore. Over to you, Mingshi.
Hi, thanks so much. Just to check that you can hear me well.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm very pleased to be here. My name is Mingshi. I'm from the Trust Office that's currently hosted under the MOH Healthcare Transformation Office. And today I'll be sharing with you some of the work that we have done in establishing trusted research environment and to support the use and sharing of both research and real-world data. I'm going to attempt to share my screen, so just give me a minute. And you should be able to see a presentation slide that's called Trust.
And also Song's lovely face.
Yes, we'll keep to that for the next maybe 15-20 minutes. Okay, so yeah, so again, thanks for having me here today, and also thanks to Mukesh for inviting me along to this really exciting partnership and community that you have. So very quickly, Trust platform is Singapore's first attempt to look at how we can better encourage safe use of research and real-world data at scale. It is a jointly developed platform by Ministry of Health, MDDI, which is our Ministry for Information and Digital Transformation, Synapse, as well as GovTech, which are the tech agencies here in Singapore. And today I'll share with you broadly what Trust is about, how do we enable safe and efficient use of data, how to get started. I think this is particularly important and useful for those who have Singapore partners, and also to share a little bit of our OMOP journey, since this is the OHDSI APAC conversation. So very quickly, you can think about Trust as a data governance framework as well as an analytics platform to help enable and support anonymized health analytics by researchers from the public and private institutions. And the work that we do, we try to enable the different types of data to be brought together. And here you have real-world data, either from ministries or agency government repositories, as well as research data that are residing with our research community and RIs. What Trust then provide is a secure environment in which users are able to come within the environment to carry out their analysis and to be able to carry out their partnerships and collaborations with the selected partners that they have. I'll go through this slide very quickly, but essentially these were the big problems that we were trying to solve. The making clear the rules and governance for data sets which are going to be made accessible. I'll talk about them in a while. We have also established a data access committee to enable a more streamlined, efficient way to share data, because otherwise, I'm not sure about where you come from, but it does take a long time for our researchers to be able to access different types of data because they have to go to different data custodians. We have also established a secure environment within the commercial cloud hosted on AWS to support the analytics work and the environment. And we have also established a trusted third party to enable linkages across different data sets. And as part of our attempt to interoperate different types of data, we've also adopted the OMOP, we've also adopted the OMOP standard. And we have been working very closely with Mukesh, with Monin's team, to set up a central data curation team nationally to enable OMOP mapping at scale here in Singapore. So these are some examples of projects that we have already supported and enabled. Essentially, it really represents the first time in which we are able to do this nationally and at scale, bringing different types of data from clinical, phenotypic, or genomic data together to study very important health and health-related questions to Singapore and to the region. These are some of the other things that we have also been working on. Besides being a technical platform and promulgating best standards and best practices is also something that we spend a lot of time on to really get our research community uplifted to understand the importance of the data sharing principles and safeguards that are in place. These are in the middle panel, as you see, the local public research organizations, which we have already signed an agreement with. And that means any of the researchers from these institutions will be able to put up a request on trust and to view the data catalog and to be able to access the data once their request has been approved. We have progressively been looking at enabling a broader range of analytics as well. And so on the top right-hand corner, you see an introduction of new tools like LiveBit, which is a genomics tool. I have a demo later that you can take a look as well. And now, of course, on the OMOP site, I do have a few slides later on that talks about this. But again, I really want to thank the clinical community, Monin and team, who has been working with us tirelessly on this to get this going. These are examples of the types of anonymized data sets that are currently available on Trust. They cover health-related data sets spanning from population, social health, disease registry, health finance data, and we're increasingly also looking into lifestyle, wearables type of data as well. Currently, we support about 50 projects and to date about 350 users. I just wanted to make a note because I think this is an exciting community to be talking to. Beyond what we are doing now, we are constantly looking beyond into the horizon of what else we should be looking at to enable much more efficient data use and impactful outcomes from research. And the things that we have been looking at includes going beyond structured data to unstructured data use. We have been also working with our partners in Singapore and overseas to test out various privacy-preserving technologies, federated learning, federated analysis, in order to allow us to do more cross-border sharing of data. We are also very keen to push forward with more automation on our end and be able to better support users through the setup of a Trust Academy, which is coming up soon, comprising of training curriculums for both data users as well as data custodians and data contributors. So very briefly, I do need to just highlight about some of the core features that we have set up in Trust and how they're all built on the 5 Safes framework to ensure safe data access and use. And I'm sure this is familiar to many of you, so I'll just take you through very quickly. Under safe purpose, all projects that comes to Trust would have to be approved by the Data Access Committee to ensure that the purpose of use fulfills public interest and are of social value. I mentioned about the agreements that Trust has set up with our public research organizations. And so our Trust users would have to, of course, undertake the terms of use before they can access Trust data in the platform. Trust is hosted on AWS, Government Commercial Cloud. And so users come into our environment, which has the necessary toolings to do your analysis. As for the data, it is anonymized according to the government standards. And we do require outputs to be vetted before they can be taken out. And again, only aggregated, no micro-level data can be exported. I'll skip this slide. I guess for users who are interested, this is the process in which you will be going through. You will first have to put up a member account request on the Trust website. With that, then you are able to access the metadata catalog and also submit a request for data sets according to your research questions and use case. The data request will be approved by the Data Access Committee, after which you will be provided with the Trust account, and the prepared data sets will be made available to you in your remote desktop interface. And as I mentioned, after your analysis for exports, they would have to be aggregated and vetted before you can take them out. This is just the Trust Data Access Committee that we have. I just want to point out that we take a very holistic approach towards reviewing the projects. And in addition to scientific domain KOLs, we do include layman, ethics, legal as well to ensure a very holistic look at the projects. So I don't know how many of you are from the public research organization. We can speak about that in a while. But if you are currently from a Singapore public research organization, then yes, you are able to access Trust, and you would already have the agreement in place for you to do so. If you are a partner of our public research organization, that will be possible as well. And some of the work that you could be doing could be through your partner in these public research organizations. I will skip this. And these are really more just to support the users when they are onboarded in terms of training materials and video tutorials. And maybe just very quickly to give you a sense, so the Trust Analytics portal has some of these following key features. I have a video later which I will play as well, but the usual data analytics tools, R, Python, Spark are all accessible via SageMaker Studio and Code Editor. I've talked about the launch of the live bit. Actually, I should correct this slide. It has already been launched, and that we also have various tools and functionalities that are coming up in the horizon. So very quickly, these are the kind of data science competencies that we would highly recommend for users who are coming into the Trust platform. So clearly some familiarity with command lines, with data science notebook interface and cloud usage. So I will have two very quick videos. I'll play them very quickly just to give you a sense of the tools and functionalities that's within the platform. Just give me a minute. Okay, let's hope it works.
Welcome to Entrust. This session will provide brief overview on how.
Can I check if you are able to hear the video? Okay, I'll play it then. Thank you.
Research can be carried out in Entrust. Kindly check our documentation and training material for more detailed information and tutorial. To begin, let's start with user's data location. All files that can be accessed by user in S3 can be seen in this View Profile page. Files under My Files are created by user, while the ones under Common Files are for use case requested datasets and data dictionaries. And the last one, shared files, is for various training materials. To read these files, or to run some analyses, go to this studio page. Here, Jupyter Lab or code editor can be run, with various instances and clusters size. Once an instance has been provisioned, click Connect button to start the session. Here, it will connect to Jupyter Lab session. To start, select a kernel, like Python for instance, and a notebook will be created. Afterward, the code or syntax can be written, as shown here. Other than Jupyter Lab, Code Editor is also available as an alternative tool to write code. And for those that need to work with large dataset, cluster might need to be provisioned as well. Provisioning cluster will trigger creation of connection string that can be attached in PySpark or SparkR. Output of the analyses can be placed in S3 by using an AWS command line. To export them out, go to Data Export Requests page. Read the term and condition. Fill up all required fields, and submit the data export request. Next is Resources and Tools page. This is where all documentations, manuals, as well as other tools and information are placed. It is highly recommended to also check this FAQ page.
Yeah, thanks. I will pause the video here and come back to the presentation itself. But essentially, that's just to give you a sense of the interface, the instances that you can launch. And also, this is not a very updated video, but at this moment, we have also made available PyPy and CRAN repositories for users for these libraries that are of interest to you. I talked about the other toolings that we have made available. So this is the LiveBit part of the house. Maybe I'll just play the video very quickly as well, just to give you a sense. There's no sound to this video, so I will be the sound for you. So like I mentioned, we do have integrated the LiveBit genomics platform into Trust as well. So what you're seeing here is the creation of a new project and the launching of the instance. Here you select your Jupyter Spark or RStudio instance. You will also be able to select the cost or time limit in doing so, and after which again, launching the interactive analysis, select the kernel, in this case the terminal, and be able to install libraries and cite the notebook. And at this moment, PyPy and CRAN repositories are available. What you're seeing now is again interactive analysis with tools and libraries installation, but this is in RStudio. And I think the next part is on cohort browser. So this is another feature within LiveBit. You are able to, for OMOP data, you're able to select the filters to view the cohorts of interest. You go to slice to the according to the domains or the cohorts of interest that you have. And okay, over here, what you're doing is that there's the pipelines, selection of pipelines, setting up the input parameters before you submit the job, which then turns out, I think in this case, what they did was a GWAS report. So then what you get will be the GWAS report at the end of the day based on the data that you have selected. Okay, let me just go back to my slides again. Can I just make sure that you are able to see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. I'm not very good at all this toggling. Okay, so I just maybe just highlight one more thing. It's to say that we have already started charging framework. So if you're interested to use the platform, just take note of that. A bulk of the cost actually is still supported centrally, where we cover the core infrastructure, but we do expect users to cover your own compute, storage, and usage costs, and also part of the Trust foundational service fees. Yeah, so I think my next few slides really is to talk more about the OMOP journey that we have. I think last year at the symposium, I had the pleasure of sharing about the work that we did for all the Singapore National NHR records. And I also shared about the key data elements that we have completed, which are listed here. And also our effort to do this, to extend this out to the whole of Singapore as well. So happy to say that we've made a little bit of progress since then, and very much thanks to Mukesh and team for driving this effort as well. So we feel that while we have already done some of these initial efforts with the electronic health records, we wanted to be able to do more, especially to deepen the work within some of these clinical domains. And so what Mukesh and team has done, we have set up more like a central data curation team hosted within A*STAR. And we're partnering with our large national programs like Gastro, Attract, SingCloud, SDCC, but essentially they represent different clinical domains that covers maternal child health, cardiovascular, oncology, for example, for us to take a next level step, working with the clinicians to carry out a further harmonization of the OMOP concept IDs. And with that additional level of efforts that's being carried out, this centrally coordinated OMOP master mapping table will then be shared with all our collaborating partners. And the first release of the harmonized OMOP master table has actually been already sent out to all our Singapore partners as of March 2025. This is indeed a significant milestone for our national level OMOP mapping effort. And I also want to thank, Morning, Yam, and UHS for a lot of the guidance they have given as well along the way. I think it's important that we do this in a coordinated manner across, so that Singapore as a whole, and in partnership with, of course, our region, will be able to take a more holistic and harmonized approach towards OMOP mapping centrally. In the next slide, just to give you a bit of a teaser on the things that we are starting to look at. This is really very much work in progress at this point of time, but we want to be able to actually go beyond the clinical data elements that I've talked about and looked at genomic data harmonization in OMOP CDM as well. So this workflow that you see here is something that we are testing out now, where we are currently looking at vocab enrichment, building on the OMOP genomic vocab and enriching them with publicly available variants from ClinGen. We also want to tap on the local cohorts that have been set up. So we are contextualizing for the local Singapore population and looking at the clinical relevant variants from these various cohorts like S310K Health, for example. And with that, we hope that the overall genomic vocab will become more robust as we continue to draw on the local population cohort studies. The next step for us is to then enable the genomic vocab query. And so Mukesh and team is now looking at setting up the Django REST API framework for this to happen, which we can then allow for users to use API call to query for the concept and concept synonym table of the OMOP CDM schema. And again, something that we hope to be able to do is to actually automate this whole process in terms of the annotation of genomic VCF files with both the OMOP concept ID and also the verse computed identifiers. So these are things which we hope to work on in the next few years, and of course, we look forward to various collaborations and support from the OHDSI community as well. This is some of the areas which I was brainstorming with Mukesh on, potential areas that we welcome the OHDSI community to work with us on. And I believe this was some of the ongoing discussions, conversations that had taken place as part of the symposium last year as well. I think this is my last slide. So I'll be very happy to take any questions. Let me just exit so I don't just see a blank screen. Just give me a minute. Okay.
Great
Stop.
presentation.
Okay. Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Great
Thank
presentation, and a lot of seems like a lot of great work that's happening in Singapore. So, like you said, thank you to the teams that's pushing this effort through, right? It's nice to see databases like this or data assets like this being shared where it could be used for research purposes.
Thanks for that. It's really a whole village of effort to make all this happen. So again, very big shout out to NUHS, Monin, Mukesh, especially on the OMOP side of the house. Yeah. I've got Rana here as well. I just realized Rana is one of our members in MOH data team, and he has also been a key player in this. Thanks.
Thank you, Mingshi. Any questions? I know Cynthia has her hand up. Please, Cynthia.
Yes, Mingshi, good to see you again. What are the years of the NEHR that have been fully OMOPed?
We have actually done the OMOP mapping for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years. But what we want to do is to continually refresh them, because our with the new batches of OMOP data that's coming in, we want to be able to refresh them as well. So at this moment, I believe it's 2-3 years of work.
Just a follow-up question to that from myself, Mingshi. So when you say OMOP mapping, you're referring to both the ETL process as well as the vocabulary mappings, right? It's not just one part. Okay, excellent. That's good. Great to know. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, I don't
Not
see
a question, but a comment. So yesterday I met with my former colleagues at Health Sciences Authority, and there are just a handful of pharmacogenomic variants that have clinical impact. And wondering if, I know the genomic stuff it's so huge and it's a really big problem. But might there be a possibility to just extract those very few variants? Because there are places in the OMOP Common Data Model to put those few variants. I think it's only maybe like 20.
Yeah, I think staying focused, driven by use cases, has always been the approach. Maybe I'll let Mukesh comment on this.
Yeah, thanks, Mingshi. Yeah, I think it's a perfect time, actually. In fact, we are getting started with NUHS on pharmacogenomics use case. So again, looking at clinically relevant variants, I think it's perfectly timed, right? We could connect the HSA team and see how we could test our OMOP genomics framework here for the use case. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Stephen?
One question, Mingshi. Very good presentation. Thank you very much. I want to understand, based on the data that you have OMOP enabled from previous EMR, are they already taking into considerations of a one patient, one record kind of context? It means because you're consolidating for multiple hospitals, have you already mastered the data to make sure that there's only one patient, one record kind of thing?
Yeah, you're a bit muffled, but I think your question is that now that we have been pulling data across at the national electronics health records level, have we started to look at a one patient, one record setup? Well, it's an ambition. I won't say that it's done, but clearly on the Ministry of Health side, that's something that they are looking at.
I see they're looking at it. Okay.
But as I understand, the NEHR has done that. So that piece of your trust platform is one record, one patient.
That's right. I'm actually referring to, because we beyond NEHR we have all the other records. We've got claims, we've got disease registry, and right there are all the other sets as well. So when I talk about one record, I'm talking about across all the other types of data.
So linkage across databases, you mean, right? Okay.
But from the polyclinics to the hospitals, the public sector hospitals, that I believe is all, has the same patient with the same identifier.
Yeah, I think Singapore is very lucky to have a unique identifier in that sense, which we call our national NRIC or national ID. And so that has, of course, made it much easier. But from a data analytics and data analysis point of view, being able to do that across all the other types of data is, of course, an ambition that we have as well. Yeah.
Great. Lovely presentation, lovely questions. But for the sake of time, we do also have another presentation and a presenter waiting. So if any questions, I think we can be the channel to help connect you and Mingshi and the MOH Trust team. So let's just move on to our next speaker. Thank you, Mingshi, again for the lovely presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, Keiko, I think you're in the call, right? I see. There you go. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think we didn't have the time to merge your slides to a deck. Can you share from your end?
Yes. Is this, am I showing the right slides or is that the presentation mode?
It's in presentation mode. Yep. Yeah. You're good.
Okay. All right. Somehow mine is presenter mode, so I just didn't know. So, okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Keiko Asao from Japan chapter. And I would like to share some experiences in translating or kind of localizing the Book of OHDSI in Japanese. So here is a list of contributors to Japanese edition or version or localization. So it's led by the supervisor or senior leaders of the community, Professor Matsumoto and Professor Hiramatsu, and actual work are done by 3 members, including myself. Important contribution is made by Martin from global members, and I'm going to talk about it. And also, this work is supported by Kyoto University's fund. So I think people here may already know about the Book of OHDSI very well, but just to be sure, the OHDSI's OHDSI's official, I would say, textbook or kind of handbook to explain all about OHDSI and OMOP basics. And it's a practical guide to use OMOP CDM and OHDSI tools. So to target from beginners and advanced users, also by more than 15 community members. So in Japanese chapters, there was a plan quite a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, that we wanted to have it in the local language, but it was difficult for many reasons, and the plan kind of stopped at the time, and now the plan came up again. The idea came up again, so it's completed. But one of the challenge or interesting part of this book is that it is written in R Markdown and published free of charge on GitHub with a Creative Commons Zero copyright. So that is important or kind of it carries also certain challenges, but interesting feature of the book. So the book is in English. I needed to count the words, and that's about 115,000 words. If we print about 464 pages, so it's hard to see it in HTML, but it's a quite large volume. And this is R Markdown in case you are not familiar with. So it's our program to publish, in particular with the insertion of our programs in between. But this is, I believe, a conscious choice by OHDSI community to show all kind of programming part and nicely done by with citations and cross reference, etc. So it is a programming, I would say, program script files. At the same time, it is a book, and that has a little bit of challenge. So when we try to translate, we thought three possible approaches. So the first approach is probably most commonly done, the approach, which means PDF or HTML is converted to whatever the Word file or something that we can normally use as a text, and we can translate it. So that is what we initially thought. The second approach is GitHub plus GPT-4, which, it just by chance I discovered that Martin created this program, and I asked him how he did this, and then he said that he offered to try out for Japanese version. So this is what we chose at the end, but I will explain a little bit more. So this is more like a whole GitHub repository to be translated by GPT-4 as a whole, and then we just do post edit. The last option we thought, but we didn't choose, is Git localize, and this may be useful for future projects. I just want to mention a little bit more about it. So Git localize is already set to for the continuous localization tool for GitHub repositories. So it automatically links to the original text to translate. So if the original is updated, then the updated part is highlighted, and we can easily identify the place that we need to review, etc. So this may be useful for the future project for the multilingual needs, such as on the book of OHDSI. We didn't choose it this time because we are not very familiar with this system, but also we already had a chance to see how good it was for the Martin's GPT-4 translation. It was surprisingly worked well for Japanese translation, so we thought that that's probably faster this time. So as I mentioned, translation process is basically data GPT work, and then also we created terminology list to be consistent for the terminology, specialized terminology, and they posted it for R Markdown kind of format for small things like tags and citations, and then also, of course, the readability, kind of finishing the Japanese readability. We didn't do translation for figures, but we did it for most tables. For figures, there is a reason we didn't do all of them, but I'm just to show it later. So then we sort of, because of this system, we didn't announce it until we finished the work, but it was actually all the work during the translation was kind of open to public. So, but at the end we announced it that the work is completed, and then the second stage is to get the feedback or whatever the correction or modification is needed, and that we committed to do for 3 months and still waiting for the feedbacks. So GitHub GPT-4 program is, I put the link here so you can probably consult with more time to use it for your own language. But I just want to emphasize that in the global, there is a big revision of the book is ongoing. So I think at this point, you may want to wait until the global revision is completed before you start the new localization. For the terminology, we wanted to make consistency of the contents. So initially, we made a list of keywords and frequently used terms for about 20 words, particularly picking up from index, but also from the text. And then ask chapter leads, regional reads for review and input, so that we kind of get the consensus for the terminology. But it is, I don't know, maybe for many Asian languages, similar things may happen. But for example, there are some OHDSI specific terminology, such as observation. Like if we just translate observation into Japanese in the regular context, it becomes just a regular, usual noun. But in the OHDSI context, it has a specific meanings for same for visit. So we try to make a little bit distinction between the normal terminology versus OHDSI terminology by using phonetic expression using katakana in Japanese. But I think maybe different language has different ways to do it. For the R markdown, I'm not sure you can see it, but when we did the conversion using GPT-4, somehow all backslash was lost. So it messed up a little bit, but we just fixed it. So it's not difficult, but it's a little bit tedious, and probably in the future, if we want to do it, we can probably do a little bit slightly more protective kind of programming. Then probably the biggest challenge is readability. Readability means that this is a technical document, and the content itself is quite advanced, I would say. So people who understand, people needs to study a lot to understand what it is. And if you don't understand and just translate it, it is very difficult to make it sense. So I think this is later. I just want to mention that that you need a team for the people who understand the language, also who are familiar with R and GitHub, and also people who understand all contents. So that's one point that I would like to mention. Another point is there are lots of web application explanation in the book. This is an example. Maybe you may not be able to read Japanese, but here what it says, please click included source code. And if you translate included source code, then you can't correlate the term to the figure bottom here. So we try to keep it as English, but put it in the parentheses in Japanese because I just want to make sure that people understand what it means. But this took a little bit extra work. So I think this could be, if we really aim to do multilingual version of a book, then we can embed some mechanism to do this from the beginning. And this is just an announcement to the community to continuously accept the revision proposal. So here, lesson learned, this is the probably most important part. So team up, if you think about the localization, team up with members who are good at GitHub, R Markdown, and also languages, English, Japanese, and OHDSI APAC contents. So that is really challenge. And also R Markdown, you need to fix a little bit small things. And then furthermore, I didn't mention, but PDF is quite convenient, so we wanted to have it. But from the HTML to PDF, there is another hurdle to set the right fonts, etc. So for some other Asian languages, maybe similar things happen. Machine translation. So I don't know this is specific to Japanese or not, but some sentences are very, very long. And then it's like half of the lower sentence is omitted, or very long, many rows table is half omitted, like a half cut, chopped. So I think for machine translation use, we need to be succinct in terms of text and also the table. And then punctuation, this is a small stylish things, but for example, chapter X, usually in Japanese, this is like first chapter. And I think this is the same to Chinese. So it's more natural to do this way, but it's a little bit hard to do because it's cross-referenced. So I was hoping, after finishing this, I was hoping that the next version of the book could be from the beginning. It could be multilingual version, automatic, hopefully automatic. And then I think that helps to expand the members' accessibility to the technology, but also in understanding and, capturing more different discipline, different members from different discipline. So that's my hope. So here is a Japanese version. Sorry, it was quick, but if you have any questions, anything, let me know.
Thank you, Asao-san. I do relate to a lot of the very detailed troubles you had around translating this, right? Because even in Korea, like the chapter references, we also use the first the number in between two characters, right? So I can feel your pain. Essentially, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for your efforts in doing this. But glad to see that AI has helped some of that process a lot easier, especially around handling the R programming language and maintaining that, right, without removing that in the first place. So any comments from the I see Cynthia has left something. Anybody else questions or comments for? Yes, Cynthia?
Oh, so just quickly that in the Africa chapter, we've embarked on a translation project into French, Portuguese, Arabic, and then he also had a request for Russian. But the other three languages, and Kiswahili, which are the 4 major languages in Africa. So I put his email address because I think the two of you could really share a lot of good information about how to make this translation process easier. Thanks.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any other comments? I know we are right on time, but any final comments, questions?
Oh, thank you, team, for translating another version of the book into another language. So great motivation for all the other APAC folks here, right? I mean, we have it in Chinese, we have it in, Cynthia said, another language in Europe, right? We have it in English, and now we have it in Japanese. So cool.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Korean
yeah,
and
sorry,
Japan
we
and
have it in
Chinese,
Korean
right?
too. I forget to mention, I'm so sorry to
Yeah,
the Korean folks.
Chinese.
We have it in Chinese, yes. I
Yeah,
mentioned that because I was
Right.
part of that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of it. Oh, and Michelle Wolverines presented at a European meeting. There's a couple of people who came up to him. They wanted it in Spanish, and there's Germany, German. So I think this translation work is taking off, and lessons that people can share with how it was made easier for each language can be pooled.
English, Korean, Chinese.
Right.
Ooh.
I have all three of these.
Right, and setting it up so that revisions will be easier, because as you know, right now they're doing the Book of Odyssey revision too. So yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, Keiko. It's really great to hear another language being translated.
Agreed. Keiko, when it does speak, the revision 2 does come out, are you signing up for the translation for that as well?
No, I'm hoping that it's going to be all automatic.
Hopefully. Let's see.
Maybe.
Let's see
Hope
how
too much.
AI progresses.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everybody again for the wonderful presentations today. Everybody's questions, exchanges were great. Mukesh, special thanks to you as well. I know you've been playing a key role in coordinating with the Singapore MOH as well, right? So thank you for that. Without further ado, if there's any last comments anybody wants to do, I think we can close the call for today.